So, does time have a frequency? Stay tuned. I have some pretty cool insights that I've received from my spirit team about the energy of time and why time exists here in the 3D. Welcome to the Soul Alignment Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Angie, and I'm inviting you to explore the depths of self-sabotage, limiting mindsets, and the beliefs that hinder our progress in life. Through intuitive messages I receive from my spirit team, I share profound insights to help you live authentically and break free from these limitations. Join me now as we uncover all the keys to living your best life. Welcome back. My name's Angie, and I am your Soul Alignment Mentor, bringing you intuitive messages I receive from my spirit team to help you align with your most authentic and highest self. So, have you ever thought about time? And have you noticed recently that it seems like time is speeding up? Things just seem to be flying by. I don't know about you, but it is crazy to me that we are already at the end of June. How did that happen? I feel like we were just in winter. We were just having Christmas. So it is so crazy to me to think about how quickly time is passing by. And it got me thinking about, what does this really mean for humanity? And how does this relate to ascension? And how does this relate to our frequency, or the frequency of 3D and 4D and 5D and all the things and changes that are going on right now on the earth with the consciousness awakening happening? And so I spent some time meditating on it, and I got some cool insights from my spirit team about the energy of time, the frequency of time. So if you are on this awakening journey, if you've been awakening to a higher consciousness and moving in your frequency and rising in your frequency into more of a comprehension and understanding that you are more than just a human, that you are also a spiritual being living a human life, then you have noticed probably in your own life, either physically or mentally or all ways, that things are shifting and they feel different in some way. And one of the things that feels different is how we perceive reality, how we perceive relationship, how we perceive the 3D world, how we are interacting with one another, what we're able to interact with in general. Some of us may have had changes in our eating habits, maybe giving up something or adding something into your diet that you hadn't been eating, maybe becoming more aware of the people you spend time with and how they impact your energy, maybe even locations that you go and how you feel when you go to the location or leave the location. You might even start to notice that you feel much more comfortable being alone, and that you want to focus on keeping your vibration high and clear so that you don't feel in the lower vibration. Once you do get into a high vibration, and once you have shifted in your frequency, even just a small bit, you will feel the difference in how it feels from where you were to where you are now. And when you get in situations or around relationships that were in a lower frequency that you have kind of graduated from, you will feel it. And it's not necessarily a negative thing, because there are people on the earth that are here that are not meant to ascend in this time. They're here to be part of the contrast that brings the ability for those of us that are here to ascend. Because without that contrast, we don't have anything to work with in our frequency. They, in a way, help provide the low frequency for us to work out of, to work through. And then what we're doing is moving into the higher frequency, which we have our guides and our spirit team and loved ones that are on the other side, helping us to rise into that consciousness. And so how does this all relate, though, to time, and how is time and energy? And the way my guides explained it to me was, as we're going through this ascension process, as we're upgrading in our frequency, we are experiencing not just a shift in all the things that I just mentioned. We're feeling the impact and noticing the change in what it feels like to be a little bit more closer to our original self, to our soul, to our spirit self. In our highest self, in our soul, when we are back in the frequency of the higher dimensions and not having our human experience, our soul's frequency is very light. And what I mean by light, it means not dense. It's a energy of expansion. It's an energy of connected to all things. It is an energy of ease and flow. And that energy is love, basically. And so in our highest self, in our soul self, when we want to experience something or manifest something into our experience, we simply think about it and then it happens. That is how quick things happen in the higher dimensions and higher frequency. The manifestation takes place instantly. If I am in my soul self and I think, gosh, I would really like to go to the beach, all I have to do is think, I want to go to the beach, or I'm at the beach, and bam, I'm there. So how does that compare to our experience here on Earth, and what is happening with the time and the frequency of time? When we are on Earth, the lower dimension 3D energy is very dense and heavy compared to what our original frequency is. And so when we are in this frequency, in this 3D energy, things are slowed down. And it's almost like moving either, you can be going through something easy and flowing on like a river, or you could be coming up against rocks, whatever it might be. One of the ways that my spirit team often likes to explain to me the shift in frequency is by either climbing a mountain or going in an airplane. The higher you get, the less dense the air is, and you start to maybe have struggles breathing. The atmosphere changes, the way things feel change. The air is a little bit drier. So there's all kinds of shifts that happen when you rise up in the actual energy of the earth, in the frequency of being close to the earth and then moving up towards like the sky. So when you go up in an airplane, you're going to feel a shift in the atmosphere, which can cause your body to react in some way. And that could cause your ears to pop. It could cause aches and pains. It could cause dizziness. There's all kinds of things that can happen when you rise in the atmosphere. And this can happen like if you live on, flat ground somewhere that doesn't have mountains. For example, I'm in the Midwest. We don't have mountains. When I go to a place with mountains, say Colorado, and I start going up a mountain, I physically feel the shift in the atmosphere and the frequency, and it impacts my body and how I feel. And so while we are on Earth, we are in this very dense, slow energy. And so the manifestations take much longer to do in 3D energy. And so, for example, when my spirit said, I want to go to the beach, it just happened instantaneously. I'm at the beach. In 3D, I have a thought, then an action, and then a plan, and then a date, and then it can happen. But it's all planned out because the 3D energy is so dense and slowed down that we had to create things such as time and calendars and things to keep order and give us an understanding of how to work with the energy because it's so dense. If we didn't have the time and dates and all the things that we have set up to keep order in 3D energy, we would not have the ability to do things in the right timing. And so, for example, if I am going to go visit or go on a trip somewhere, I have to know the date, the time, the direction, like all the things that come along with getting to this place. And if I don't have the date and I say I'm meeting somebody in this place, we would not be able to be there at the same time. But it's completely different in spirit. If I think, hey, I want to go visit my friend, immediately I'm there. There's not any need to plan or prepare to get to that place because instantaneously I can think and manifest. And so in the 3D energy, I have to do the planning, which has the need for time and the need for date and the need for that slower frequency to rule within our lives, basically, or else we would not be able to function in this 3D energy. So why does it seem like it's speeding up though? Why does it feel like time is becoming faster in some way? Well, that's because we are shifting into a different frequency. And like I was just saying, in our higher self, in our soul self, there's no time. Things are instantaneous. We think and it is. And this is why God, source energy, was able to think and create everything into existence with just a thought. It is that easy to manifest in our higher self. And we are learning to do that in this lower dimension energy, but it's taking more time to get that comprehension because we have to work through the thoughts and elements of what we've created in our ego mind and in this dense energy to trust that the manifestation is coming, because we don't see it instantaneously, and it can cause frustration for our ego when we don't see it right away. But the more we shift in our frequency, the more we rise in our frequency, the higher we go with, moving into like 4D. There are not likely a lot of people, I would argue to say probably not really anybody at this point that is actually in 5D energy. I know there's a lot of people talking about shifting into 5D, but 5D is going to be much more lighter than what we are even experiencing now. I do believe humanity is moving towards this. I think it will be happening very soon. I have been getting messages that things will be shifting quickly in the next 3 years, but in particularly the 6 to 9 years is what I'm hearing right now. We will actually see a different frequency on the earth, but we are experiencing it and seeing it in small ways right now. And this is why time is speeding up. And this is why there's more and more people that are stepping out of their comfort zone and following what their intuition or their soul is wanting to teach them and do with them while they're on earth at this time, because there are spirits that came here for the purpose of helping this ascension happen. And so those of us that came with that purpose of rising in our frequency and then helping the rest of humanity or the earth to shift in this higher frequency, we went through that denseness, we went through that dense energy as a training period to understand what it's like to be there. Now we have the capability to pull people and help people learn how to raise in their vibration so that they can also speed up in their time and begin to understand who they are as their higher self and work with that energy more. And so this is why also you might feel like you're stuck. You might feel frustrated that you're in this like in between stage of not being where you want to be, but not being where you used to be. And it's a lot of people are fighting against this, and it's frustrating, but the key to this is not to fight against it, is to be thankful for it and accept it. Because if you look at it as a way of, I have risen in my frequency to this, you should be grateful and happy for that. Just that alone is amazing. And It was challenging just to get to the frequency we are now. So rushing into trying to go to 5D energy, or rushing to try to manipulate or control or step into something else, is not going to be how we move through this process of ascension and frequency changes, because we're still working with time. As long as we are still a human, as long as we're still on earth, even if we are in the 4D frequency or moving into 5D, there's still going to be somewhat of an element of time that we have to work with, because it is a slow moving energy. And as we shift into higher consciousness, those of us that have become awoken and enlightened in some way and remembered who we are as spiritual beings, when we are able to move back into that higher frequency, when we are done with this current human life, there is going to be a shift in our soul where we will not be able to come back to 3D energy, because it will be too uncomfortable for us. We will have outgrown the experience. We have overcome the lessons. We have learned what we needed to learn in 3D. And now we are ready to shift into that next season and that next frequency of learning and knowing and experiencing ourselves, which is source energy, God experiencing itself. So the reason time is speeding up right now is that shift, moving into frequency. And the higher you get, the less dense it is, the less time there is. Because eventually, when we move completely out of this energy, when we're away from 3D, 4D, 5D energy, and we're moving into 60, 70, 80, time does not exist. The time is completely different. And so we are in a place of adjusting to a different frequency of time as we are rising in our consciousness and frequency. And this is the slow, gradual move is allowing our bodies to also move and shift and adjust in that frequency, because we can't have some of those lower energies in our body. We can't have the trauma in our body. We can't have the certain foods in our bodies. We can't have the certain frequency of experiences or connections or relationships or places in our body, because those are in a different moving time, a different moving energy. So working with this is going to be more so about allowing and accepting instead of trying to control and force. So if you are one of those people that does feel a little frustrated, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, I don't know why I'm here, I don't know what is next for me, I know there's something, I feel it, I feel the shift, I have awoken, I've raised my frequency, I've cleared trauma, I've done all that. Just be still. Be okay with where you are, because it will come. And the more you're okay with where you are, the more it will shift. If you think clear back to when you had your awakening, if you have had one, you did not force your awakening. I don't know a single human that thought, I think I'm going to awaken in my consciousness today. It just happens. The awakening process happens when you're ready, when it's time. Not anybody that's gone through an actual awakening experience forced it. And this, I think, can be an interesting thing to see within the spiritual community, because you can notice when people are trying to force something and it doesn't resonate and it doesn't align and it doesn't feel authentic or real. And so there are people that are trying to operate in a higher frequency, but they're still talking and teaching about darkness or about some of the concepts that came out of religion, like demonic forces or hell or evil things wanting to attach and come at us. And the reality of it is more we shift into higher frequency, that is all made up. That is all 3D energy. It's all 3D ego belief. And it's all created for the purpose of that experience, to have fear in that low frequency of the ego in 3D. Now, we still have a little bit of fear as we are shifting into the 4D consciousness, but that fear is less and less. It's going to be more so related to what you want to do with your life. Like fearing making a choice. Like if your intuition's like, you should do this, and your ego mind's like, that does not make any rational sense that I would do that, because in the 3D energy, if I made that choice, things would completely fall apart. And so it comes down to trusting your higher self and your intuition, and getting to know your higher self and intuition. Because if you don't know your higher self's voice and you don't know how to listen to your intuition, then it can cause even more fear. So as you're shifting into that consciousness and you're raising your vibration, spending time in meditation, getting to know your own energy, getting to know the voice of your higher self, getting to know your spirit team, getting to know what it feels like to be in a different frequency, instead of like trying to perform or do things the way we did in 3D. Is a different frequency and it's a different energy, but it doesn't mean that we are going to be able to speed it up. Just because time feels so quick in this doesn't mean that we have to work like that. We flow with the time, not necessarily against it. Hopefully that makes sense for you. So if you're feeling these shifts going on and it feels strange, or you're just like, what is happening? This is what's happening. The density is shifting, and the higher in frequency, the less dense, and therefore time event is basically speeding up, and it's going to get to the point where we don't have it. And so working with it instead of like being frustrated with it or trying to catch up with it is going to be the way that we get through this part of the ascension. So hopefully that helps you to understand a little bit. I really thought it was a great message that I received from my spirit team, and I wanted to share that with you all. I wanted to send out an invite to anybody that wanted to ask for a specific topic or anything. I can talk to my spirit team and come back and do a video for you, and I can ask them questions and share that with you. Also, I want to let you know that if you are seeing this around June 23rd, 2024, I'm going to be starting my next group healing course July 14th. This is a 7-week course where we're going to go through all the chakras. We're going to focus on the energy of every chakra, releasing emotional traumas and any kind of beliefs or energy that you took on throughout your life. I will educate you on how the chakras developed, what age it's developed, and how to keep it open and clear as you are shifting into higher consciousness. So if you're interested in understanding energy, the elements of your chakras and how your chakras work, and why that's important as you are shifting and awakening, then I want to invite you to come join us. If you get on my website, angieharris.org, and you go to healing, and then you go down to the raise your vibration course, you can enroll, and I'm going to drop a secret code in the description of this that you can use to get $160 off the course. And so use that code if you watch this video or you listen to this podcast all the way to the end. You can have that code to get that $160 off. Again, reach out if you need anything else. I also do readings, and I do one-on-one healing work with those who are ready to work through things and connect with their higher selves, connect with their spirit team. So I wish you all the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.